Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to watch. I've got an update for you guys on your storm system that is going to be impacting very hard down here in the south and also in the north central. So, we have a ton of things to talk about. I'm really sorry for the late update, guys. It's been extremely busy with school. I've got a lot of tests and quizzes. It's all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason why I haven't been uploading in the past days. But we will get right back into full swing. Have a big break coming up, so we'll have a really big week to talk about weather, and we'll be able to break down each storm system step by step. So this is your current radar, and you do have your snow that has been piling up here in Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, and soon to be Iowa. So it's going to be a pretty impactful storm in the next few hours. So we're going to start with your alerts, and right off the bat, you can see it's very busy. We'll start with where storm is located now. Look at all these winter storm warnings. This stretches from southern Wisconsin into northern Illinois, all the way down into New Mexico and Colorado. So this goes for almost all of Colorado and a lot of northern New Mexico. Or sorry, yes. So I mean, this is very, very widespread here. And then you have your winter weather advisory. Instead of your winter storm warning stretching only into Wisconsin, this actually reaches into parts of central Michigan. And it also does include some counties in Utah, and then some in northern Texas. So you just really need to make sure that you guys are aware of what the National Weather Service is going to say. But a lot of this could get upgraded, meaning that a few counties in that are included in this winter weather advisory, I think that their winter weather advisor will upgrade into winter storm warning. But we obviously have to see that. You could have some major changes pretty late, but it's looking like it's going to be pretty bad. You have a red flag warning for southwestern Texas, so you could see some kind of windy and dry conditions out there. So a little bit of a wildfire kind of favorable conditions out there. But that's pretty much it. And there's not really much else to talk about. You do have a freeze warning that does go out for some portions of central California. So and maybe even some of the coastal areas of California. So it's going to get cold in the southwest. So you obviously have to watch out for these temperatures. And this is also going to be a huge role in, it's going to be playing a huge role in this impactful system. So, there's many different things that could change the outcome of what the storm is going to bring. So, we're going to be taking a look at the southeast now. And you can see that it's like the quiet before the storm. These are your cells that are actually about to start forming your system. You don't even have low pressure yet. You have high pressure that's out in the Atlantic, so it's setting the stage for your low pressure to come in. Because when you don't have high pressure near, and your only high pressure system is out to sea, this is favorable conditions for a low pressure system to form, and then you're going to get some heavy rainfall. We're going to continue this throughout tonight, and you can see we don't get much action. This is not tonight. This was today, so it's still pretty much the same. We continue this throughout the evening hours. Once you get to 11 p.m., that's where you're going to get your first storm starting. So these storms are going to first start in the border between eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas, and then you're also going to have some storms possibly impacting in southwestern Missouri. So these first storms aren't going to be terrible. It's not going to be the end of the world with these first storms, but I do think that as these continue heading northeast, I think they're going to get stronger. So This one is looking like it's going to be less of a, uh, I guess you could say, severe storm for you guys in the deep southeast. I think this one's going to be a little more elevated, meaning a little bit farther north. So you're going to have a lot more storms that are going to move into Tennessee. So Tennessee, when these kind of storms move into the southeast, Tennessee usually gets a lot of rain, but no storms. But it's looking like now that the central idea is this big jumble of states here. You have the border between Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, uh, Kentucky, and even southwestern Illinois. I think that's where you're going to see the most, or the biggest potential for that severe weather. But I mean, you're going to just continue this, and then you don't see any stopping with this. But then this does form a frontal line, so you're going to have some damaging winds. I would say early morning, like early morning hours of tomorrow is where you're going to see that damaging wind threat. Also note that when these storms move into the Ohio Valley, it's not going to be that different from what it's going to be like down here in the southeast. I think it's the tornado risk is going to plummet, but you're still going to have that pretty substantial damaging wind threat and then even maybe some hail threat in there. So it's a mix of all your severe weather elements. So this is 9 a.m. tomorrow. Continues throughout the afternoon hours of tomorrow, and then you get your secondary line of storms that's going to fire up. So I would say these new cells are going to form probably around maybe like 1:30 to 2 p.m. tomorrow. So these are actually left over from the backside of your system that's going to be moving into the northeast, and then they form their own. So you might have a low pressure pop down here in the coastal areas of the Gulf. But you do get this parade of storms that are going to move through, and these will definitely get some severe action on it. These will also move into the Carolinas, giving a pretty good rainstorm, but I wouldn't say any like severe storms out there. So you should see some clear skies probably around midday Friday. So it's gonna clear up, but you just gotta get through these rounds of storms. But it's no joke. This one, I mean, this one could be the worst severe thunderstorm outbreak in months. So I mean, it's going to be pretty active in the next few days. So we're going to be looking at your severe weather percentage. So this is like your risk for severe weather. I know you guys are used to this because I always show this on my updates whenever I take a look at this. So we'll start with your marginal risk. You have a secondary risk that's in Santa Fe, so northern areas of New Mexico, Albuquerque. You guys are also included in this risk. Flagstaff, Arizona. So this also does include some areas in central Arizona, but I would say this is really not going to be anything to worry about. So, you can ignore this for now. Just note that you could have some showers and possible thunderstorms that are going to move through these areas. So then you get your main risk. So your marginal risk is going to be including areas from Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Pedroia, Springfield, Missouri, Springfield, Illinois. So two Springfields. You got Kansas City in this, Jefferson City, St. Louis, Louisville, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, Waco, Texas, Houston, Texas, and those are pretty much all your major cities in this marginal risk. This also does go for Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Sill, and Wichita Falls. So you're going to have that widespread risk. So, I mean, as you can see, this does stretch all the way from the three states here in near Ohio. So you have Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, and then Down south, you got Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, and then Alabama, and then Mississippi. So there's many states that are going to be in this risk, and it's going to be very widespread. But I think what the most important thing of this is going to be your damaging wind threat. I think the damaging wind threat is going to be the most dangerous factor of what these storms are going to produce. So we're going to just get through the kind of area for the severe weather and the population, and then we'll get into breaking down your threats for tornadoes, wind, and hail. So we're going to go into your marginal risk. So you can see that this has a population of a little bit under 8.5 million people. So this is a very widespread risk. Uh, your major cities included in this risk is Nashville, Tennessee, Jackson, Mississippi, Springfield, Missouri, Evansville, Indiana, and I don't know, Beaumont, Texas. I don't know if I'm saying that right, guys. Sorry about that, but I'm just trying my best here. But you can see that this goes from Kentucky. So this would be southwestern Kentucky, southern Missouri, eastern Oklahoma, and some of eastern Texas. So you have a very big area for a marginal risk as well. So this would be a 1 out of 5 risk. This also does include some areas in central Louisiana, central Mississippi, northern Mississippi. I don't know if I've mentioned Tennessee yet, but you guys are also in this risk. So, it's all of you guys are still in this risk. But I would say once we hit the 2 out of 5 risk is where things get pretty crazy. So we're going to move to your slight risk. And this is the highest populated area with a population of a little bit under 11.5 million people. So a very, very large risk. You have your major cities included in this risk of Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Texas, and Garland, Texas. So pretty much all your major cities are cities in Texas, but I mean you obviously have some major cities that are in other states as well. So Dallas area, uh, area, or sorry, DFW area. I would say you guys are gonna have a pretty heck of a storm here. You're gonna have a very fast moving but intense storm. So your storms that are going to be moving through a little bit on the early side, I think that's where the tornado risk is going to be highest. And I think once you have storms located a little bit farther east is where you're going to have the more damaging wind threat. So you can see that pretty much all of Arkansas is in this slight risk. So this would be a 2 out of 5 risk. Shreveport, Louisiana, a lot of Louisiana in this, all of northern Louisiana in this as well. Alexandria, Louisiana in this as well. Nashville, Tennessee on the border. I would say it's looking like it's going to be mostly the slight risk for you guys in Nashville, but this could obviously spread in the next few hours. So just keep an eye on what the National Weather Service is going to say for you guys. So I would say the area for the most severe weather is going to be in eastern Arkansas and also parts of western Tennessee. And potentially, you're going to see a potential for some intense storms in northern Mississippi. So you've got to pay attention to what's going to be happening with these storms and if you're going to see any changes or any updates on the system that the National Weather Service is going to be saying. So this is where you have the most dangerous risk. Now we're lucky because the population isn't too high. You have just under 3 million people in this population. I know 3 million is a lot, but when you have 11 million included in this storm, then 3 million is a little low number for this storm. So we're going to be breaking this down. You have Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Greenville, Mississippi. So these are all your major cities in this risk. You also have, did I say Jonesboro, Arkansas, and Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So those you guys are also in this risk. So any of you in the enhanced risk, I want you guys to stock up. So go to the supermarket today, get some supplies, get water, a flashlight, make sure you have a first aid kit, and tonight discuss with your family if you have a plan for this severe weather, because it is going to be impacting very quickly and very dangerously. So you're going to have a very intense round of storms that's going to move through this area. So the 3 states. You're going to have the biggest tornado threat in this area here. But I really want to make sure all you guys know that this is a pretty densely populated few cities. So even though this is under 3 million people, these cities are very major cities. It would be terrible to have these cities destroyed. But you have Memphis, Tennessee, in the direct middle of this risk. So this is going to bring us to our tornado risk. But you have to make sure that you guys are paying attention to the National Weather Service. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again because, it's going to be a very bad situation if people are not aware of this. So, again, listen to the National Weather Service. You go to your tornado risk, and you can see that Little Rock, Arkansas, you guys are just out of the 10% risk. But again, Memphis, Tennessee, in this risk. Greenville, Mississippi, in this risk as well. So you can see it's a little bit further south than the enhanced risk, but you have Jackson just south of Jackson, Mississippi, in this 10% risk. So when you have your 10% risk and you have your little dash marks in here, that indicates that the tornado risk is relatively high. So I would say for the cities that have to watch out the most are Memphis, Tennessee, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Bartlett, Tennessee, South Haven, Mississippi, and Greenville, Mississippi as well. So all of you guys, do not be surprised if you're going to have widespread tornado warnings and funnels reported. I don't know, if there's going to be any tornadoes, any damaging tornadoes, but I'm just going to tell you, it's significant to likely. So please be careful with this storm. We're going to move to your wind risk. And your wind risk, you have a very, very large risk. So, it's a 30% risk for pretty much the same areas: Jackson, Memphis, Little Rock, and Greenville. So, I'm not going to go through the cities again. I guess I will, but just for the sake of you guys out here. But here we go again: Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, Jackson, Tennessee, North Little Rock, Arkansas, and Jonesboro, Arkansas. So this is pretty much just telling you, stock up, be ready, stay safe. Your hail risk, and you have this little interesting circle, or I guess you could say area of a significant hail risk. This goes for the border between northern Texas and southern Oklahoma. So any of you in this area, this kind of little area, this would be east of Fort Sill and Wichita Falls, is where you're going to see that more significant hail risk. So Dallas, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, and Plano, Texas is where you're going to see the biggest hail threat. So that was just for today. We switch this to tomorrow. And this is where this is just crazy. It's kind of sad because the risk is so big. I'm not lying when I say the biggest risk for severe weather in months. I'm not lying. This is a extreme widespread risk for enhanced risk for severe weather. Your marginal risk, 24 million people, 24.5 million people. Look at this. This goes all the way up and down the country, north to south. So this goes from Rochester, New York. This is upstate New York. This is Lake Erie. And then all the way down into New Orleans. So you have a very widespread risk that you have to pay attention to. And even if you're in this, in this like the small risk, the below zero risk, you're still going to have to pay attention. It doesn't mean that you're excluded from this risk. Even you guys in the northern areas of Vermont and New Hampshire, you guys still, it's unlikely, but you still do have that risk out there. So it's pretty much all in the air. And it's the fact that this storm is going to expand so much is really, pretty bad. Excuse me. Because you have a very, very dangerous setup, and it's going to be very widespread. So, your major cities and your marginal risk: Indianapolis, New Orleans, Cleveland, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh. So all of you are in this marginal risk. So you also have Buffalo in this risk, Rochester, New York. So you guys in New York, upstate, Atlanta, Chattanooga. I would say you're on the border. Alexandria, and that's pretty much it. Cleveland. I don't know. I think I said that. But those are your major cities in this risk for tomorrow. So this would be the 16th. Your slight risk, it's pretty big too. You got a population of over 13.5 million people here. You have your major cities consisting of Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Montgomery, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, and it's incredible to see how many people are going to be affected by these storms. And even if you don't have that much severe weather, you're still going to have people's lives changed because you have such a big area that it doesn't matter that one tiny area has a very big risk and the rest have none. This is a massive area, north to south. Enhanced risk, it's really big. This is not good. You're not supposed to have an enhanced risk that stretches down from southern Ohio into almost Louisiana. That is not what you're supposed to have. This is not normal. So, Bowling Green, Louisville, Cincinnati, Birmingham, Nashville. I don't know if I said you guys yet, but all of you guys are in this risk. You have Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky. I really don't know if I'm saying these areas right. I'm just trying my best, guys. And then Birmingham, Alabama. So it's going to be very active in the next 2 days, including today. But I think tomorrow is where you're going to see the biggest risk for these storms. Tornado risk, it's off the charts. I mean, look at this. You got a 10% risk from Birmingham, Alabama, east of Jackson, Mississippi. And this also consists of, let me just pull this back up. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing again. Hoover, Alabama, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Meridian, Mississippi as well. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my gosh, guys, these cities are pretty hard to pronounce for me at least. But you get the idea. Just that this tornado risk is going to keep pushing east. It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going. Like, you know how the other systems, the tornado risk usually lasts for like 6 hours and then kind of dies off. This one is going to continue on a straight line and just keep on going. And finally, once it moves into those colder temperate areas, that's where you're going to see the lower chance for those tornadoes. And then we're just going to look at your wind threat, and it's identical to your enhanced risk. So the same cities: Cincinnati, Louisville, Bowling Green, Nashville, Birmingham, and east of Jackson, Mississippi. So I mean that's pretty much it for the severe weather. But you guys got to make sure that you're ready for whatever is going to happen today and tomorrow. So please, again, make sure you know what the National Weather Service is going to say, and be careful. We're going to move this to the north central. You got your pretty good winter storm here that's going to be moving through. So we're going to start down here into the parts of Kansas and Colorado. It's been snowing pretty good. It hasn't been changing to rain, so you're seeing mostly snow here. And it's going to continue like this. You're not going to see much rain unless you're pretty far south. Panhandle of Oklahoma, you guys are going to get a pretty big winter storm here. I mean, look at this band of extreme snowfall. This is going to drop at least a few inches of snow. That's what I'm expecting. A few inches of snow, if not up to a foot of snow. So this is going to continue. This is 9 p.m. tonight, and it's still snowing out there in central Kansas, central to southern Nebraska. This continues into Iowa, and then this will pair with your severe storms. So you got your intense thunderstorms into southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, and then central and pretty much all of Kentucky. You're going to get a little bit of an ice storm for you guys in northern Illinois only. So I'm not going to include southern Illinois because you guys are included in that severe thunderstorm risk. But you can see the freezing rain continues, and then the very northern tip, or I guess flat line of Illinois, you're going to have a pretty similar band of snowfall that pretty similar to the one that's going to be moving through Iowa. So this would go for central Iowa and northern Illinois. You guys are going to also be expecting up to a foot of snow. This moves into Michigan. Looks like it's going to deliver another ice storm for you guys in southern Michigan, but I would say central to northern Michigan is where you're going to see that snowfall. But you can see for pretty much the areas that my mouse is circling, it's not going to change to rain at all. So pretty much just staying frozen precipitation. So that finally just moves into the northeast. And that's pretty much it for your north central because you'll have high pressure and sunshine behind this system. We're going to move on to the northeast, and it's going to be pretty busy. But, we have a few things to talk about here and there. You have your storm, here it comes. Pennsylvania, you guys could hear a rumble of thunder possibly. So maybe some storms into Pennsylvania. Why or why not? I don't know. But you'll have that risk out there. So it's going to continue through, and then you can see this move through New York City, and this gets intense. You're going to have a chance for severe storms in New York City. I know we didn't see that risk from the National Weather Service, but look at this red and orange. I mean, I don't think you guys can blame me for thinking that this looks almost identical to your severe storms down southeast. Because you get that red and orange. This moves through central Long Island and pretty much all of Long Island. So this will also sweep through Rhode Island and Connecticut. So you guys will also get some of this rainfall. And then it's pretty much looking like it's just going to be all rain for you guys in the Northeast. And then maybe some snow and freezing rain showers here and there. On the backside of this, you're going to get a pretty nasty ice storm for you guys in the Buffalo area. So watch out for those ice accumulations. You'll get some sleet in northern Maine mixing with some snow. And then shortly this will move out of the eastern U.S. So, that's pretty much it for the Northeast. And we'll take a look at your snowfall totals. So this goes out 63 hours. So this is exactly how much time we need from this system. We'll start in Wyoming. You guys, I would expect up to 2 feet of snow. I mean, it's going to be insane amounts of snowfall in you guys in Wyoming. You could see blizzard conditions out here. Colorado, the Rockies, you guys could have up to 3 feet of snow. I mean, I know most of you are not living in the Rockies, but the Rocky Mountains, it's going to snow a lot. And the cities surrounding the Rockies, you too, you guys could see up to similar amounts of snowfall. I know we did get a glimpse of like 51 inches, but it's not going to snow that much in a city in Colorado. But pretty much all of Colorado is going to get at least half a foot of snow. We'll go to northern. In this case, this would be northern Kansas. You guys could expect up to 7 inches of snow. That would be for you guys in way northern Kansas. Southern Nebraska, I would say you guys should expect up to 8, possibly even 9 inches of snow. Iowa, pretty much the same thing as Nebraska, maybe a few inches less. So I would say up to 7 inches. Northern Illinois up to 4 inches. Southern Wisconsin up to 6 inches. Minnesota, I would say up to like a little bit over a foot. Oh, I did not mention northern Wisconsin. You guys would get up to a foot and a half of snow. Michigan, you guys topping off at about 6 inches of snow. That would be for north central Michigan. So, not much to deal with your snowfall totals, but you do have a pretty snowy condition out there and a pretty dangerous risk for whiteout conditions across these states being impacted by this system. So, finally, we're going to be taking a look at your latest GFS model for your storms ahead. So I'm going to breeze through this because it's getting pretty late. I've got a lot of schoolwork to do, but I'm just going to kind of go through each system. So here comes your first system. You might get a little Arctic plunge here on the backside of this. Looks like New York City, you guys are going to get pretty cold temperatures, as this looks like it's going to drop pretty far south. And then you're going to have a pretty dry spell for a few days until the 20th. You get some pretty active atmospheric weather. And you finally get your first low pressure system in a few days, around the 21st. And it gives some rainfall to southern New England. So that moves out. And then you get a extreme winter storm. This is going to be, if this were to be the latest and the last GFS model for this system, this would be, I think, the biggest winter storm in years. This is crazy. I mean, this is all the way from you can include Montana. And then, so this is like all the way across the country. And then look at how much snow could fall here in the Dakotas. And then this moves into the north central, and it's just a heck of a winter storm. But that's gonna really drop that low pressure. We're gonna continue watching that in the next few updates. But I mean, man, that is going to be a tough system to deal with. And then you get this another system around the 28th. This moves to the northeast, looking like all rain, but another really bad winter storm for you guys in the north central. And then that's pretty much the end of the model run, and the end of the model run shows March 3rd. So that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like, share, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. And we'll catch you guys in the next update. But please keep in mind that there's a very high risk for severe storms today and tomorrow. So we'll catch you guys in the next update.